You think you're fast, but nothing about this is fast. You open euro dollar, then pound dollar, then back to euro dollar. You scalp M5 like it's a live negotiation. Every candle's a decision. Every twitch is a vote for control. But the only thing speeding up is your erosion. You're not hunting pips. You're hunting identity. Stacking trades like bricks. But you forgot the foundation. One break even. One minor green. One micro spike. And you're scaling in again like this one will finally move. You watch price instead of thinking. You trade reaction instead of position. And now you don't even know what position you're in. No plan. Just friction. Because it's not high-frequency execution. It's high-friction sedation. You convince yourself you're managing risk while you're actually managing regret. You open trades not to win, but to undo the last one. To erase the loss before it hardens into reality. And the more you stack, the more you fade. Each new entry isn't confidence. It's collapse, cleverly disguised as precision. And the chart isn't lying. Your P&L isn't lagging. Your trades are just telling the truth, faster than you can lie. You call it scaling in, but there's no structure, no bias, no logic, just hope that feels like control. Because it's spaced across multiple entries. You say the setup's still valid, but you're not looking at structure anymore. You're looking at damage and trying to rename it conviction. Euro dollar and pound dollar don't care how many times you tap them. They don't care that you got in early. They don't reward persistence. They reveal it. You're not building a position. You're building a self-justification loop. Each new entry buys you a few more seconds to pretend this isn't collapsing. Because it's not about the trade. It's about the feeling of staying active, of not being wrong yet, of still being in control. You close partials like it's risk management. But it's panic management. You're snipping off losses in pieces small enough to lie to yourself about. You re-enter seconds later because the chart didn't punish you yet, because it twitched, and that was enough. Not enough for strategy, but enough for dopamine. And that's what this has become. M5 scalp loops. Fueled by phantom setups. You don't even believe in once the candle closes. You're not trading with clarity. You're trading with residue. The leftover fear from trades that got close but didn't deliver. The leftovers from watching others post wins while you're still stuck inside one pair, looping through entry triggers. That never meant anything to begin with. You keep fibbing the retracement to match your bias. You keep dragging the stop loss just a little wider. You keep adding size because the first one was small. But every click after the first wasn't strategy. It was reaction. And you know it. Because you're not even looking at pound dollar anymore. You're looking at euro dollar again to see if the spread's tightening, if the last wick formed a zone, if price is respecting anything. Respect is the word you reach for when nothing else justifies entry. But it's not respect. It's repetition. And repetition is your real strategy. Not smart money. Not liquidity. Not confirmation. Just muscle memory, disguised as market understanding. You scalp both pairs because it gives you the illusion of freedom. Like switching charts undoes the trap you're still inside. But all you've done is open two doors into the same loop. This isn't speed. This isn't precision. This isn't mastery. It's motion sickness, mistaken for momentum. And every scalp you enter adds one more layer between you and the original plan, if there ever was one. Your screen doesn't show trades anymore. It shows negotiations with yourself, with the market, with the last mistake you renamed entry. You don't even know which trade you're trying to fix. You just want one of them to pay. Any of them. Because if one pays, you can forget how many didn't. But they stacked. Not just in your terminal, in your nervous system. Each re-entry rewires something. Each fast scalp deletes a rule. You're not refining skill. You're amputating restraint. And now, every bounce looks like opportunity. Every pullback feels like insult. Because you weren't supposed to be this deep, this fast, with this much size. You lower your TP, not because it's smart, but because you're scared. You need a win before you lose yourself. But you already did. The moment you stopped asking, is this valid? And started asking, can I still add one more? Now you're not managing a position. You're babysitting friction. Each candle feeds the stress, and every second becomes a hostage situation. You flinch when price moves. You hesitate when it stalls. And you chase your edge, like it owes you something, but it doesn't. Because you didn't build an edge. You built a trap, one you can't walk away from, because your identity's inside it. You don't want to win trades. You want to win yourself back. But you won't find yourself in the M5 noise. You won't find clarity in pairs you've turned into battlegrounds. Eurodollar isn't your enemy. Pound dollar isn't mocking you. You did that. By trading not to win, but to keep trading. By opening trades that serve anxiety and closing them in silence because you don't want to face what they said. You click fast to outrun the reality that nothing you're doing resembles the trader you wanted to become. And now you're left with charts that don't mean anything anymore. Just zones and fibs and wicks and noise. Each one trying to justify a habit you're too tired to call out. So you don't. You call it refinement. You call it liquidity play. You call it experience. But it's erosion of logic, of discipline, of identity. You won't blow the account in one click. You'll blow it in 30. Each one small enough to ignore until the damage isn't. And when the equity drops, you'll say it was volatility, that the market shifted, that you were close. But the truth is simple. You were never scalping. You were scratching an itch until the skin gave out. Close the chart. All of it. Not one pair. Not one tab. All of it. Because right now, you're not in the market. You're in survival mode. And survival mode doesn't trade. It copes. You think clarity is one clean entry away, but you won't find it on Eurodollar or Pound Dollar or any pair that's been your battleground for the last 50 trades. You need space, not another strategy. You don't need a better entry. You need to break the loop. And that means this. Delete both pairs from your watch list for 7 days. Not muted. Not minimized. Deleted. Because those charts don't just show price. They show history. Your history. Your habits. Your collapses. And you can't fix behavior while staring at the trigger. You want to heal the loop while sitting inside it. You want to rewire without disconnecting. That's not recovery. That's relapse with better excuses. You scalp these pairs into meaninglessness. They don't show structure anymore. They show shame. Every fib you draw is a cover-up. Every EMA you trust is a coping mechanism. And until you kill the trigger, you'll keep calling it precision when it's just pain in the suit. This isn't about discipline. This is about detox. And detox doesn't look like effort. It looks like abstinence. From the loop. From the pairs. From the idea that your identity is tied to staying in motion. Because it's not. It's tied to your ability to step back and admit the trades didn't fail. You did. You didn't scale in. You spiraled down. And it won't stop until you stop calling collapse a strategy. 7 days. No Eurodollar. No Pound Dollar. No exceptions. You want to win? Take that step. Watch how fast the noise fades when the source is cut. And when you come back, you'll know if it was strategy or sedation. If the pair still looks like opportunity, or if it just reminds you what it costs to keep pretending. That's your proof. That's your reset. That's the edge you couldn't buy. Not a new indicator. Not a tighter spread. Not a better lot size. Just space. Not because it's smart. Because it's necessary. If you won't delete the pair, you're not trading anymore. You're coping. And coping doesn't have a back test. You didn't lose the trade. You lost the silence between trades. That quiet second where discipline lives. Where you could have paused, but chose to click. You called it execution, but it was just escape. The chart didn't break you. You broke the pause. And now, you don't trust stillness. Because stillness tells the truth. That you don't know why you entered. That you never had a setup. That you weren't scalping. You were unraveling. Fast. Repeatedly. Convincingly. You didn't need confirmation. You needed friction. Because friction feels like control when you're falling apart. But you don't scalp for profit anymore. You scalp to forget. And every trade you enter, to silence the last one, is just a loop, dressed as logic. There's no edge in repetition, only erosion. And the deeper the loop, the more brutal the exit. This video confronts behavior. It does not define identity.